guy broke up with us, with all of us. I'm telling you. I haven't seen him even at work for a long time. I don't see him anymore, so I don't know what he's doing. So he broke up with us. And that part I think is sad because of religion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's completely weird.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm Véronique.
And I'm Silvia.
Welcome to the High Vibes and the Mind podcast,
where multicultural moms connect.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. High Vibes and the Mind with Véronique and Silvia. How are you today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So we're going to talk today about when is it time to break up with a family member? Because that's not something very people like really talk about, but that's something happen a lot. I know it happens. It happened in my family a while ago, and right now it's really quiet, but it happened in my family a while ago. We're going to talk about that. And is it right? Is it wrong to do it? Because family is family, but sometimes, like they said, you cannot choose your family. So what do you do in this case? Silvia, what do you think about that? Have you ever broken up with a family member?
Well, funny you ask, because yes, and I think right now I am going through a breakup too, but hopefully a temporary one. Yeah, another one. But there is like a cousin of mine that is just like, yeah, I think we're pretty much done. But we're never that close. That's the thing. When you're too close, then I think it's more complicated. In that case with her, we were cousins. Like I would always go visit her and my grandparents and from my dad's side, but never got like, we were not like hanging out all the time. It would be like maybe once a month, which nowadays I think it's like a lot, like to the standards of, because from back in the day, I would hang out with my family, like cousins, the ones that I was close to every day. Like they all live very close. But with her, since it was my dad's side, we would like go there once a month or something like that. Not as often. But so you're not really that close. And then went to college. I would remember seeing her in college and all that. And then when I moved to the US, every time I went back to Rio, we would meet up and hang out. But she has, we broke up mainly over politics. She's the opposite side and very, very radical side. But I remember even from school, her being like that. Yeah, that was the reason that we actually.
No, that's a bit stupid, but politics and religion.
Yeah, I know. But that just shows you that we were very different too. Like her priorities are, like what defined her, and what she believed. It was totally different from my beliefs, and so for me, it was like I can't hang out with someone who believes in that kind of stuff. Like for that level, the way she was, very like to the extreme. So we had like she came over, but there was also things about her personality that I didn't really like. Oh my god, I love this person so much. She came over one time. And it was the first time that she she slept over at my place, like that I actually had to spend time with her 24/7. She stayed in my place for like a week or so, visiting from Brazil. And well, it was interesting that week with the whole like things that I learned about her. There was a lot of like alcohol use that I wasn't expecting, cigarettes around my house, and I had a baby. Like I was Michael.
What?
My oldest was 2, and I was pregnant with my second. And then there she is, like, but she would go outside. But I said, this neighborhood, nobody smokes. What do you do?
Yes. She's a California girl.
Yeah, they're going to smell the cigarette outside. What are you doing? And my neighbors are going to think it's us smoking. So there was a lot of the cigarettes, the drinking was off the chart, like I never seen before. But at the same time, a lot of denial too, because I tried to talk to her mom and like, hey, isn't she drinking too much? But nobody wanted to deal with it, like face the problem. So that was kind of a red flag for me. I'm like, I don't want them here again. I don't know. It was awkward. Patrick didn't really like it either. And then came Brazil elections and all that. And then she was clearly in one side and me the opposite. And she left me, but I never really texted her. Like who cares? Like, you vote for whoever you want to. And same way for myself. But she sent me a very nasty message, kind of condescending or being like very ironic message on Instagram when my candidate, the one that was running for, lost the election. So she right away she sent something like saying like, well, you're not in Brazil anyway, blah blah blah. And I'm like, who are you? Like, why? Like, you know what? Just leave me alone. And then after that, I deleted her from my pages, deleted her sister, because I didn't even talk to her that much, but I know she thinks the same way too. Now her mom added me back on Facebook because I even deleted the mom.
Oh, poor mom didn't ask for anything.
And she added me, well, because she thinks the same way. She has the same opinion. But yeah, politics can get pretty nasty. But since she just sent me that message on Instagram, there was no reason to try to tease me or make fun of, I'm like, screw you. See ya. I wasn't a big fan of you. I just don't want you coming over to my house anymore anyway. So I said, you know what? This is coming in handy. Because that's one way for her never to come back to my house. So I said, done. So that one was done. But she wasn't that close.
Okay, because if you go back to Brazil to visit family, is she gonna be in next door, or is that gonna happen? Are you
gonna? No. She's
are you gonna see her?
She moved the door. No, she's lives in a different part of Rio. There's zero need. My grandmother already passed. My grandparents passed away. I can see my aunt that is not related to her. So yeah, it's a totally doable.
Okay.
It's doable. I've already thought about that. Only when someone, passes away, like her dad, he's my uncle, then yeah. Maybe by then we're gonna be okay. I'm open to getting back, Like, hey, if we have a conversation like, yeah, whatever, this and this happened, let's work it out. Cool. But so far I'm okay the way it is now, Doesn't really bother me. I don't have any anger towards her. It's just I feel good not having to talk to her. Just when you don't miss the person, I think it's okay, right? You don't wish any ill, of course. I don't wish bad things for anyone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm okay not talking to her. So just because we don't have much in common anyway. Apart
and
from
I think you're kind of good of not holding grudges because you said, if she comes and she said, okay, let's not talk about it or whatever, you will forget about it. You don't really hold grudges.
It's been so long. And it's just right? In the end, it was immature, talking about politics, fighting over politics. One thing is I really don't want her coming over to my house. That's one thing. But it doesn't mean that I don't want to talk to her ever. Yeah, you have your opinion, even though we're very different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I would never be able to be close friends. Never. Close to her, no. But just being good terms. Yeah. Because I don't like to be angry at people. It's just not worth it. It's not good for her health. So don't do it. Don't do it.
You don't have to be close friends with her. We don't have to force friendship on family. Because that's something I thought when I was younger. I had to be with my family. I had to get along with with my family. But with time, I mature and I realized that no, actually, I don't have to be friend with you if I don't want to. Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing for me. Cousin, who betray me. Again, the cheating boyfriend.
Oh yes, she was involved in the cheating boyfriend story, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
The cheating boyfriend. Everything was organized because of my cousin. Actually, he had a big part of this in this, and I think the cheating boyfriend was already cheating on me even before with that girl. My cousin actually covering, the whole thing. Because I remember once I found condoms. We were still living together in France, and I found condoms in his pocket. And I was like, what is this? Obviously you're cheating on me. And you know what he said is, oh no, those are your cousins. Excuse me? He's like, yeah, he borrowed my coat. He borrowed my coat, so that's not mine. These are those are his. So long as he's cheating on his wife, on his girlfriend? That's what you're telling me right now? So you see, these guys, they were already covering for each other. So for me, that's already a big betrayal. And when the big fight happened, so for the new listeners, we have an episode about the cheating boyfriend. You can go back and listen to it. It's very funny now. So when this girl was in my house and I saw her in my house, the first thing she did, she went to my cousin next door because we were living next to each other. She ran out of the house and she went to his house to hide herself. So when I went to his house, I'm like, what is she doing here? And I'm like, did you know about this? I don't know if you know about it. And he's like, okay, let me explain. So when he said that, I'm like, you know what? You dead to me. We're done. I was already like mad and everything. I was like, no, you betray me.
Mm-hmm.
And, I already told the story. Time passed. He called me for the wedding. He got married. He called me for the wedding. Remember that? And he told me, the boyfriend has to be in the wedding. And I was like, oh yes, yeah. Remember that? Okay. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, he was already like this. He's a good friend of mine. And for me, family is so important. He shouldn't be your friend anymore. He betrayed me. He should be your friend anymore. Why is this guy still in the family? But anyway, story short, he was on the wedding. The slut was in the wedding. He made his choice, right? It chose them. So I was like, so we have nothing to talk about. So when I moved back to England, and then I moved to America, I completely cut ties with him. I speak to the whole family, especially on Facebook. Facebook for me is really my way of keeping contact with my family because we're really active on Facebook. All my cousins, because I have a lot of cousins. But he made several requests to be my friend on Facebook. Never accepted it. Never. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be friends with you. For you to see what I'm doing, because people must tell him, oh, Veronique is doing this, or she has a baby, or she adopted a baby, she got married, stuff like that, And he doesn't know anything about my life. So I'm like, I know you want just to check what's going on my life. I know you are. Because he's kind of so like he has this personality sometimes like a woman, with drama. He likes drama. He likes to, he likes drama, and he likes to gossip like a woman. Men don't do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he has that. He has that. So I'm like, no, I don't want you to check my life. And then there was a wedding in my family. So I go with Pascal. We're living in a state. We didn't have any kids yet. So I'm like, okay, let's go to France. There's a wedding. And I know I'm going to see him because the whole family is there. And that was funny because Pascal is like, so, he's coming. So, do we say hi or not? Do we like him? Oh, so funny. That's so cute. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to say hi. We're not going to do, a scene here. Do you know what that fucker told me? The first thing he told me when he saw me. It's been like, we haven't seen each other maybe in 10 years. No, not 10 years. Maybe like 6 years. Okay. He hasn't seen me in 6 years. So I'm like, oh, hi, for me, I'm like, okay, it's I know, it's under the bridge. What's under the bridge? We forgot about the betrayal. Okay. So he's like, oh my God, you gained so much weight.
That's the first thing he says?
Yes. He didn't even say hi. He's like, oh my God, you gained so much weight. Fuck you. Really?
Oh,
that's what you're going to tell me? I gain weight? You gain weight.
That's so weird. Especially for a guy to say that.
I know. French people, they would do that to you. And especially in Caribbean. Oh, you're fat or whatever. They would tell you that in your face. They don't care.
Oh, they tell you on your face? Okay. So.
Oh, yeah, they would touch your face. And I was like, oh, okay, great, thanks. Yeah, hi, hi to you too. And I was mad. Then, I don't know, doing something. I went to the bar or something, and I was talking to another cousin, and she's like, oh, yeah, you told me that too. What is this problem? But she replied to him, well, you gain weight too. You're fat too. What's your problem? She had a good, answer back.
Yes.
She had a good clack back, and like they say, she had a good clack back. But me, I didn't think of saying that to him because he actually gained weight too. So what's your problem? We all gain weight.
Oh, you could have said yes. Yeah. Looks like both of us.
Exactly. But it's, again, I don't expect people to be nasty. So I'm not in my nasty mind, on guard, to be nasty.
To think about a response right away. Yeah.
Exactly. But my other cousin, she's the kind actually of person who will break up with family member with no problem. She just told me she broke up with her brother. Her brother. She broke up with her. She's like, 7 of them. And there's one who really did something bad to her with money. Again, because of money.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, no, this is the last thing he did to me. And I don't want to hear about him. I don't want to talk to him. And they had a big reunion for her mom, my aunt. I think a big birthday party. So all the kids were there. And I was like, how was it? Must have been awkward. Because your brother was there. What did you do? She says, he was he was on his side. I was on my side. And we didn't talk to each other. We didn't say hi to one another. We didn't acknowledge one another.
The presence.
I was like, this is so awkward. Sorry. And I told her, you're very lucky that it's 7 of you kids. This way there's a lot of people in the room. Because if it was only me and my brother.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to do?
Can you imagine? I don't talk to him anymore.
It will be weird.
In this case, if people, family members are people. So if they are abusing to you, verbally or even physically, or they take your money, or they act, wrong with you, it's not because they're your family. They have to stay your family. If you break up, you break up. You don't choose them, but you can choose not to be with them anymore.
I know, yeah. I agree with that too. I at first I thought like you did too when we were younger, like or maybe because you're so naive, you think everything is working out fine. Because my parents would never tell me if there was issues, gossips, drama with the family, and especially because my mom's side of the family was really big, so with like a lot of the cousins and all that, they're always hanging out together all the time. But since I was a kid, I was like, I think everything's good. And my mom would never tell me if there was, maybe I think overhearing stuff like here and there, but very mellow, very mild. So in my mind, it's like, hey, you have to have a great relationship with them because it's so easy. Like, how are you going to be fighting with your relatives? How is that possible? Because I don't remember seeing that. But I didn't know what was really going on, like I know there's some other cousins who like stop talking and then they start talking again and then start like remember like something like that. But as you grow older and you see and you have to deal with family members, different personalities. There are family members who are going to be very like ungrateful for things that you do for them, and you just it's so there's a lot of emotions, a lot of things that can happen, that can really upset you. What are you going to do? Like force to hang out with a person that you think is like doing something wrong, you're not going to do it. It's just, I think it's okay. Yeah, it's needed. If you can go back, like maybe after years and then can work things out, apology, like asking for, an apology or whatever, or giving an apology. But if not, it's fine if you can't talk. But I remember when I moved to the US, hearing those stories from friends, they didn't talk to their siblings. Like, wow, how is that possible?
Oh, yeah.
That's so weird. But now I feel like, well, it is totally possible. It is possible to have arguments with your parents because you grow older too. You have your family. You see more things because you're an adult. And when you were just like in your early 20s or teenagers, early 20s, you're just like at least my case, I was in not worried about them. Like you're not having serious conversations about things and life, But when you get older, you do. And then you can see the side of them that is not that pleasant. That is like, whoa, what is that, So, you're gonna, sometimes you break up, sometimes you get back together, and others, no. Can be for good, too. Hopefully not, because it sucks, right? It's kind of sad. Because then, like everybody's gonna die, and then,
Yeah, but talking about that, that's exactly what I was gonna say. After my grandmother died, now we have 2 clans in the family, and two clan people not talking to each other for like 2 years now.
Oh, because, separate groups?
2 separate groups, because 9 of them, and now there is 2 separate groups, and one aunt is not talking to my mom is not talking to that uncle is not talking to the other sister. It's ridiculous. And when I went to Guadeloupe last year for Christmas, So my aunt called me, are you going to come over for dinner or whatever? I'm like, yeah, sure. She's like, your mom is not invited, right? I'm like, oh my God.
She'll just tell you right there on your
Oh
face.
yeah. She's like, don't bring her, right? I'm like, yeah, I know. So I tell my mom, okay, Pascal, me, Eden, and Naomi, and Steve, we're going to go to Auntie she invited us for dinner. And she was like, what? And she got mad because we're going. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to take any part of I don't want to take any side. Because I know you tell me she did wrong. She told me you did wrong. I wasn't there. This is none of my business. I don't feel like I have to take anybody's side because it's really none of my business. So she didn't do anything wrong to me. So I'm going to go and see her. I still love her. So she's my aunt. So it's you guys' business. And also I've been through that already with my mom and her sisters and brother. They get into a fight, then you take a side, and then they get back together and they get mad at you because you took a side. So I'm like, not this time. Not this time, Satan. Not this time. I'm not gonna do that. No. I'm not getting involved. That's your problem. Because I know maybe in 2-3 years you're gonna get back together again. So no. I'm not participating.
How long has it been like that?
They broke up. It's been, I think it's more than 2 years actually. Really, the big fight happened 2 to 3 years ago. After the inheritance, fighting for the house, who's going to get what, and then they decided, oh no, we're not gonna. Okay, she did me wrong, blah blah blah. Sending nasty emails, sending letters.
So that was after your grandma died for like the division of the house that it got nasty like that?
Yes. It's always like
so many. It's so many to divide with.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. So it's ridiculous. So right now we have 2 clans, something that would never had happened before, and I hate it. But yeah, and it's like I wouldn't say it doesn't bother them, but yeah, they live their lives, and I'm not talking to my sister. How can you not talk to your sister? I'm talking to my sister. I'm not talking to my brother. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
So it's just like, well, if the thing was really bad, maybe they're like, okay, fine, yeah. But then once one gets sick, when they start getting old and then die, and then what do you, like, you're going to show up in the funeral? How does that work? Things you have to think about.
Because it happened before. 2 of the sisters, one of the oldest, the one before my mom, and one of the youngest, they didn't get along. They got into a huge fight 15 years ago, okay, a long time ago. They stayed like 10 years without talking. They didn't talk for a long time. Then somebody died. I don't know if it was another aunt or the parents. Oh, well, now they're back together like nothing never happened. Loving each other, and now they're talking to each other. So I was thinking, thank God I didn't take any side when you were fighting 15 years ago. Because now you're back together like nothing happened. And why? Because you went to a funeral and you saw each other at the funeral and you were thinking, that was stupid. See, life is very fragile. Anything can happen. Yeah. So why are we fighting? That's stupid.
What do we get out of this then?
I don't know.
It's tricky. Like you can't give if it's okay. I guess the question was if it's okay to end relationships with family members. I guess it is, right? What are you gonna do? Like with anyone else? But ideally, not.
I think that maybe at the time, or you think that they did you wrong. Yeah, maybe you don't have to, be in their presence if you're mad. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's good to take a break. Maybe not break up, but take a break from them for a while.
Take a break, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Take a break from maybe not break up, because I have actually one of my cousins, and that's actually broke my heart. He's in a religion, so he grew up in that religion. It's 4 of them. He's the only one who stay with the mom, who stay in that religion. The 3 others are like, yeah, now we're out. And in that religion, you cannot talk to other people. I mean, you cannot, really hang out with other people. And they are the only one in our family. In our family, most of us were Catholic. Okay? And this is not Catholic. That's something else. So for a while, we grew up together. We grew up together. Him and I, we grew up together. He even came to visit me here a few years ago. And I was like, yeah, I haven't heard about him for a long time. So I asked my other cousin, his sister, and she said, oh, he doesn't even talk to us anymore because we're not from his world. The only person he talks to is mom, because mom is still part of the church.
That's crazy.
Okay, and now he's one of the elders in the church. It's even worse because he has to show people, what to do, and that you cannot really hang out with non-believers or whatever. And so now he's not even talking to his brother and sisters. That's so weird. That's really weird.
That is completely weird.
Their dad died last year. So they all went back to Guadeloupe because the dad was living there. And they all went back to Guadeloupe. And one of the brother was like, oh my God, I don't know what to stay there. I don't have time to make accommodation, Can I stay with you? Because he was going to stay with the church over there. Because the church has centers everywhere in the world, right? So he was going to stay with the church. And he said, oh, can I stay with you at the church? What he said. The brother was like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't. You're not from the church. So I cannot allow you to come with me. Aren't you Christian? Christian, you're supposed to open your home. You're supposed to be welcoming people. What is your problem? Aren't you like with Jesus and it's a church, should be open to anybody? Because at that point, that's not a church. That's a cult. I'm sorry.
How do they get new people to join like that?
Because they knock on your door. You know who they are. They knock on your door. And they try to talk to you.
They're going to knock on your door and you're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm sold. Yeah, totally join you.
Yeah.
Right.
So this guy broke up with us, with all of us. I'm telling you. If I see him, of course, if I see him in the street, I'm sure he's going to say hi to me. But I don't know. I talking to my other cousins and they say, we don't even hear from that guy. We don't even see him because he works with another cousin. They all work in the same company. And she told me, I haven't seen him even at work for a long time. It's a big company, so. But she's like, usually before I used to see him, I don't see him anymore, so I don't know what he's doing. So he broke up with us. And that part I think is sad because of religion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's completely weird. Yeah, it's because those ones, like I remember we had cousins too that before, like they would party with my parents. My dad doesn't really, well, like mom and my uncle, they would do like these big parties, like cousins, and dancing, drinking, everybody. And this one would always like go crazy with, drinking like beers and having fun. And then decides to join a crazy church and stop seeing everyone. Like, he doesn't drink anymore. Oh, he doesn't go to parties anymore. Everybody's bad. All of a sudden, everybody's
boring.
Bad. And then they get tired of the church or doesn't work and then comes back to drinking and partying. Like, what's going on?
Can we have a good balance? Can you be a good Catholic and drink your wine?
Yeah, can you just, have like a normal, balanced life? Please, no extremes. But then they disappear with the religion too. There is that.
So now I don't know. Yeah, is it good or not to? I was at the beginning. I was thinking it's a good thing to break up with family if they piss you off. But sometimes, if they do that to you, you're thinking, oh, why did he do that? He broke up with me. I still like him. So I guess it depends of the circumstances. It depends, of the reason why you should break up. If they're really abusive or they're really bad people, but if it's something like that, I mean, if he comes back one day, he's like, I'm sorry. I'm not going to tell him no. I'm mad at you.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Always being open. That's good. To reconciliation.
Even the other cousin who betrayed me, if he say hi to me without telling me I'm fat, maybe I will. Maybe I will, take him back in my life. But until then, no, thank you. I don't need you. I don't need your fat ass to tell me that I'm fat. Okay, I have a mirror. I can see. I can see it myself. You gain weight. Screw you. In 15 years, of course I gain weight.
Oh, you haven't seen him now. What? This is probably
a good 10 years worse. Now. If you see me now, it's gonna be like you're obese.
You would probably say something right away.
Yeah, I think at myself at that time I wasn't even big. What is his problem? Anyway, so yeah.
Weird.
So I don't know for the listeners, You're the one who judge. You're the one who know what's in your heart. If you have to stay with that family member, I will say maybe take a break. Take a little break from that family member. You don't have to stay around, hang around if he's really pissing you off or get on your nerves. Take a breather and see what happens.
Yeah, take a break and be open to having a conversation later on, because it's still part of your family. But I know how it's hard. It's complicated, as they say. So it's tough to have an answer. But we're just talking here because we know, I'm sure someone out there has gone through the same thing and still, like, is this just me and my family? No, it happens a lot. I think with most families. As you get older, you're going to deal with that. And it's unpleasant, but just try to work things out the best way possible, whatever that works well for us too, right? So you're not being screwed or pissed off all the time, stressed out. Yeah. So like I said, take a break. And we're only humans. So
exactly. All right then. So thank you for listening and hang out with us today. We'll talk to you again later. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast if you want to get the new episode right away. And you can join our Facebook page, and we have also a YouTube channel where you can see our clips. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to High Vibes and a Mic. Until next time, laugh hard, stay silly, and never forget to bring your sense of humor. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.